going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scene Podcast. My name is Craig Smith. I got my guy Chris Wash, Mr. Texas Recruiter himself, with me. We are back again, just like last Wednesday. Podcast, The Scene. It's going down. Tonight, we're going to college route. We have one of the best assistants in America, the best recruiters in Texas, and also one of the hardest workers. We got UTSA assistant coach Hood. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate that introduction. Let me say right off the rip, me and Craig went to high school together. So, again, he's gonna be a little partial to me, but again, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you guys having me. Me and Chris grew up together. We go way back too. So again, for you guys to ask me to do this, man, I'm really appreciative and thank you guys so much.
Hey man, we're glad to have you on here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on, man. This is a big one for us. Doing this podcast. This is only our second one. We had a big time high school coach first, David Peavy. Now we got a big time college coach. So what are you doing right now? What's a college coach doing right now?
Oh man, recruiting. I mean, again, after the season, again, you got to sink your teeth in recruiting. You gotta, again, leave no stone unturned. Obviously, with this transfer portal, that thing populates every single day. Now you got Division I, Division II, you got NAIA, you got, again, people of all walks of life that have hooped, and you can't leave any stone unturned. Still got high school kids, you got under the radar kids, you got junior college kids. Again, I was just out at Hutchinson, Kansas, out at the JUCO National Championships. Again, you're out there, again, leaving no stone unturned, and again, you're working the phones, you're hitting up your contacts, and again, sometimes too, recruiting is all about relationships. So again, I'm hitting up guys with players and guys without players too, because you don't just want to be, again, checking in on people when they have kids that you feel like can help you. You want to make sure you have relationships through and through.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for being a Texas guy through and through. That's big time.
Thanks.
Talk to us a little bit about where you grew up, because we know you're from Texas, so tell us about that.
Yeah, no, again, it's actually pretty unique because, again, I was born in Dallas. I grew up in Mesquite, but then I also moved to Sugar Land, which is outside of Houston. So again, I grew up there, and then I spent a little time in San Antonio, my junior year of high school. So I grew up there. So again, I always like to say I'm from everywhere, Texas, because again, I grew up in basically a lot of the major cities, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. I can talk any language in any of those cities because I spent some high school years there. Again, I'm running around, driving around Houston, driving around Dallas, driving around San Antonio. And I know a lot about all those cities, and it's helped me now. Again, when I was growing up, I didn't really like it. I was like, Dad, well, we got to keep moving. He was chasing a little money. Got some good job opportunities in all the kind of major cities and outside of Austin. And again, it's helped me, 3 different high schools. And so again, I know a lot about a lot, and now I'm kind of grateful for it.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, there's 2 things I know that you're really good at. You're good at a lot of things when it comes to coaching, but 2 things particularly that come into mind are recruiting and your analytics. I know you're real analytical. Talk to me about those things. Why are they important?
I got you. No, again, recruiting first off, again, it's the lifeblood of any program. So again, good players make any coaches look good. I always say, I'd rather have better players than better plays, because again, those are the guys that are going out there making plays, making us coaches look good. So again, recruiting is something that, again, networking, building relationships, and also it's twofold, because recruiting is one thing, but I actually pride myself on being a great evaluator. Again, in places like UTSA, again, when you get to that highest level, it's easy to tell the McDonald's AllAmericans. It's easy to tell, everyone that everyone says is good, but to find someone who hasn't hit that radar yet. And at UTSA, I feel like I have to do that, to evaluate before they come and try to build a lead to get those kids to kind of drink the Kool-Aid if and when the big dogs come around. They want to say, hey, well, he was there early. He recognized, my talent and where I am early. And then the analytics part, that's been, again, I actually goes back to when I was 5 years old. Again, My dad's got the newspaper at the table, and I'm looking at box scores. I want to see who's scoring, who's doing what, who's being efficient and effective. And again, I'll also want to credit, again, Kyle Smith. He was real big. I worked with him early on in my coaching career, and that's his whole program. Again, they have a thing called Hustle Stats. So it's 40 different statistical categories you keep in every 5-on-5 activity that we did. And we use that, and basically you get a player efficiency rating. Again, playing video games, always, we kind of explain to our players, like, if you're playing 2K, who are you going to play? Again, the guy's going to help you win, and those are the guys with the highest ratings. And so, again, a guy who's not rated highly in three-point shooting, you're probably not going to shoot a lot of threes with them. So, again, we use that to do that, and I've carried that on along with me. And, again, I'm a believer in it. It was new age, cutting edge. Now it's becoming a standard, and I'm glad it's something that I embrace and I know a lot about, and I love it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's something that you've been doing for a long time and almost have perfected. So I was just curious about that.
No, thanks a lot. No, it is. It's a part of me, and I love it. And some people fight against it and always say this. I say, if you've ever used a stat sheet to make adjustments, you've used a base form of analytics. So all the people that are like, exactly. Oh, I hate analytics, it's this, it's that. It's more than just, mid-range 2s and 3s. It's more than that. And so, again, I don't want to sit here and hijack the podcast with it. But, again, I'm always up to talk about it and explain it more and to get people to really understand it.
Talk to me a little. So you went to Sugar Land. Did you get to hoop with your brother in high school?
Yeah. Actually, my brother, again, it is my basketball career is in the shadows of his since high school. Again, he turned out to be a really good player. I wasn't, again, I kind of just rode his coattails and
come on, man.
And swung the towel around and
I got
to pass the ball.
Can't nobody rock a haircut like that and not be able to hoop.
No, it was again, Dallas is known to have some unique cuts. And I was, definitely part of that train. But again, it was great to, again, be with him, even in high school career, to see him take off. Again, growing up, he may not admit it, but I used to whoop him in the backyard growing up. And then about 10th, 11th grade, he had a little growth spurt and really, again, his hard work started to pay off. And even going to Air Force, we both went to Air Force Academy. He was an all Mountain West Conference player. Again, I was a rotational guy. Don't turn it over. Don't shoot unless I'm wide open. If I can't pass him the ball, then maybe I can shoot it. But again, he was a great player, fringe NBA player, training camp here, played overseas, played in the G League. At that time, it's called the D League. So again, us being so close, I've kind of lived out those experiences. And so when people question, what is your playing background? Obviously, I played Division I, played the Mountain West, but living with him, before kind of FaceTime, but when he was in Venezuela, he's calling me. He's Czech Republic. He's calling me as the G League. Again, his team went to the finals of the G League. He's calling me. I'm there. I'm a part of it. I felt like I experienced it. So to give that information to, players coming up and they want to know how it is, everybody just thinks you can go overseas. It's going to be fun and great experiences. I can let them know that it's not always peaches and cream over there. You got to work. You got to dig. You got to roll your sleeves up. And again, it's cutthroat like any other profession.
Yeah, and you played at Air Force, and then, tell me, because when I personally hear about like kid got an offer from Air Force or Navy or Army, the one thing in the back of your mind is always, you might have to, you got to go serve and do all that. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, again, it's something on the front end that they speak to you about. You're gonna have to serve 5 years after you graduate, unless, and then there's always asterisks. You know what I mean? Like, so there's always exceptions to the rule. And again, people have lived it. They make you serve 2 years. Then you can sometimes, again, it's case by case, but sometimes you can pursue a professional career after those 2 years. But again, going to the Air Force Academy is a very, very unique experience. It's the best way to put it at times. It's a great place to be from, not always a great place to be at. And that's because the discipline they instill in you. And if you look at my Twitter and look at some of my social media, I'm a big quote guy. But since I was 18 years old, I've been memorizing quotes from the Air Force Academy. And so that's something that you had to do, something that's kind of ingrained and instilled in you, core values, integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. that's something that's ingrained in me. And so living that, people, again, I have stories for days, basic training, you got to take a bite of food that you can chew and swallow in 7 chews. Now, if that teaches me, they're going to help me, beat teams in our league. I don't know. But the discipline that it instilled in me to do things and make sacrifices for the greater good. Because, again, to be successful in anything is going to take discipline and consistency, and that's something that the Air Force Academy teaches you. And it says the best way to be a great leader is to be a follower first. The academy is built on that. Your freshman year, you're a follower. You're listening to any upperclassmen. They're telling you what to do. You're trying not to mess up. But then also as a sophomore, 19 years old, you're figuring out your leadership style. And so at 19 years old, I figured out, hey, you know what? I'm an empathetic leader. So now as a coach, I know my leadership style. So I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm not going into it, trying to figure out why I am the way I am. What am I going to do when I'm in quote unquote power or I have influence? I've been at 19 years old, I was given that. And I had to figure it out. I'm not going to lie to you. When people are sitting there looking at you for direction and looking at you for information, they're looking at you to help them succeed in something that they don't know how to succeed in. And so from age 19, I've been leading young men and women, and I think it's helped prepare me for this career path I've chosen.
So, well, I got one more and then you can go, Chris. I promise I'll be done. Tell me about the groundwork your parents laid for you, because I know they are both really good people. Talk to us about them, man.
No, I mean, again, they're everything to me. I look back at them and having 2 parents. Again, at the time, I didn't realize that was, again, something that is a luxury, because in this day and age, you just, again, you can't take that stuff for granted. And the morals and the values that they laid and instilled in me ring true today. And they were, and again, being from Texas, again, definitely went to church every Sunday. And I do, I am a Christian, and again, I do believe in God. I'm not forcing that on anyone else, but I do believe that, again, my footsteps are ordered and directed. And I feel like I'm, things happen for a reason. I'm at UTSA for a reason. I'm on this podcast with you guys for a reason. We've grown up together. We've interacted for a reason. Who knew when we were growing up that years later that you guys would have a platform and would ask me, again, to be on it, again, and that's something that I'm thankful for and grateful for. And I don't take anything for granted. So my parents, I love them. They come to the games they can come to. San Antonio is about 5 hours from Dallas. They're both in Dallas. And so anytime we go to Dallas, they're there, they're cheering. My dad still yells from the stands. I tell him to keep it down, because now it's, now it is, the decision to our coach's decision. So, that's one person that you can't blame anymore, Dad. Don't blame the coaches, because we're trying to win.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Chris.
Adam, talk to me about the coaches you've worked for and played for, and what you've kind of taken from each of them.
No, that's a good question. I mean, during college, it was actually kind of crazy at Air Force. We actually had a lot of success. 60 years Air Force basketball, kind of a 5-year span. I was there for 4 of them. We never had a losing season and experienced kind of unprecedented success. So I actually went to Air Force Prep. When I was at Air Force Prep, Joe Scott was the head coach at Air Force. Now he's, again, back at Air Force for a second run. But he was there, instilled some great things with me. My prep school coach, Dean Christian, the head coach at Plano. Again, they just had an unbelievable season, and he was there. And again, I'm an 18-year-old kid, think I know what I'm doing. I don't. He was there. He helped, again, mold me into a Division I player, because I didn't feel like I really was one when I first arrived at Air Force Prep. He helped mold me, change me, gave me the right attitude and demeanor to be able to tackle the Mountain West basketball. And then my freshman year, I had Chris Mooney, head coach at Richmond now. I had him. He was a 32-year-old head coach. So you can only imagine, what you experienced, not realizing that that's not normal to have someone of that age be in a position, a Mountain West, conference head coach, and seeing that, experiencing that, and him carrying the torch of a guy who had led Air Force to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1962. He's following that up as a 32-year-old head coach. And again, being a freshman in that environment was great to see, and great to see how he handled and maneuvered following someone who had done something unprecedented. Then my sophomore and junior year, I had Jeff Busdelic, He was a former coach of the Denver Nuggets, so he got let go there and came right away from the NBA and coached us at Air Force. So he brought a different mentality to us, and it was great to experience an NBA level coach and seeing, again, he made some tweaks, made some adjustments, changed our defensive philosophies and habits, having been a Pat Riley guy, to help, again, implement those drills, implement that terminology, implement that language that I'm, again, able to carry forward into my career now. And then my senior year, I had Jeff Reynolds. Again, he's on the Clemson basketball staff, but he's bounced around, had a good run, was a great Division II head coach in North Carolina. And again, he did it a little bit different. He was real big on relationships, and that's what he helped instill in me, building relationships with players and understanding people of all walks of life. And, he knows that, again, that this business and just life in general is about relationships. And on that staff, again, I had assistant coaches, Kevin McGeehan, head coach at Campbell. He was an assistant during that time. Coach Pilipovich, who later on became the Air Force head coach, was on our staff. So again, to be around, future head coaches, to be around guys of integrity as a player, and seeing that as I'm growing up and figuring out, again, what basketball and college basketball is all about was great. And then as a coach, again, the guy who gave me my opportunity, I'm super thankful for him, Joe Jones, down at Boston University. Again, I thought I knew I played college basketball, but then when you step on the coaching side, it's different, man. It's different. Like, there are different challenges. There are different things awaiting you to be successful. So you have to change your mentality from being a player to being a coach. And he was able to help me in that transition from being a player to thinking like a coach and acting like a coach, even as a young person who could still relatable to the players. So Joe Jones gave me my start. So I was with him for a few years, had some great success at Boston U, was able to, again, go to a NIT. It was great. I did it as a player, went to the NCAA tournament as a player, but to do it as a coach is a little bit different. And preparing guys, and we got to play Illinois, which was a great opportunity for us. And then Kyle Smith gave me my first shot at being an assistant coach. And I'm forever grateful for him. He had his analytic style. He had his recruiting pitches. He had his everything meticulous, everything down, detail oriented, the way we recruited, the way we spoke, the way we talked to our players, the way we structured practice. Everything was very, very buttoned up. And I'm forever grateful to have learned that. And then even the hustle stats we spoke about a little bit earlier, the 40 different statistical categories we kept in every single practice, and how we were able to utilize that into winning. He helped teach me that smart wins, prepared wins, and sharp wins. And that's something that I've carried on with me throughout my career. And then being with Steve Henson. I mean, again, the guy is a legend, played in the NBA, coached in the NBA. Again, is in the Kansas State Hall of Fame and the State of Kansas Hall of Fame. And again, worked for Lon Kruger forever, played for Lon Kruger, and just seeing his leadership style, seeing his preparedness. And again, he has a bunch of magic plays. And so now I have those plays and things that have worked seamlessly. And we've had a lot of success at UTSA. We've had some unprecedented success here in recruiting and on the court. And I'm grateful for all those people because, again, they've helped shape me. I take a little bit from all the coaches I played for. I take a little bit from the coaches I've worked for. And then I take, obviously, what I've given, some God-given gifts I've been given, mix them all in a pot, and that's Adam Hood, the coach.
Hell yeah, I like that. That was great.
No, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's long-winded, but
awesome.
having played for 3 coaches in 4 years, having worked at different spots, and having gone to prep school, and having done a lot of things, have a lot of experiences, I think has helped shape me, into the coach that I am today. Because again, we recruit prep school kids. I know what that's like to go to prep school. I've been to a strict military institution, so I know what that's like too. I've, been to different high school. I've been the new kid. I've been the veteran. I've been a part of successful programs where I've sacrificed individual talent for team success. I've, and I've lived it. Again, I've lived through my brother being a professional. So again, I feel like I have a lot of bases covered, and just having that wealth of knowledge can help this next generation.
Let's go back to 2011. I when I think like athlete, you play basketball your whole life. You know, you get to a point where you realize, like, I'm probably not going to go pro. I'm probably not going to do this, but I want to stay in the game. And that's kind of why I'm still here. That's why I picked up a camera and I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
What got you to Boston and what you into coaching? Because I read something also. You were a coach for the Middlesex Magic.
Yeah, no, and that's crazy. No, I know. And if people didn't know, the Middlesex Magic made a run. Mike Crotty, shout out to you, man. I didn't shout you out in this coaching tree.
I got to see a lot of them in the last year's circuit. Yeah. They were a big time team on the circuit.
Yes. No, he's a great coach. He does a great job with his organization and program, and he gave me an opportunity to be a head coach in his program, and I'm forever grateful for that. I'm gonna get one of his guys one of these days. I promise I am, and I appreciate him. But again, what got me started actually was after graduating from the Air Force Academy, you have to serve 5 years, and so during those 5 years, my job was a project manager, and so they stationed me out in Boston. And that was kind of out of region for me as something that, you know, again, I'm a Texas guy. I've always kind of been around Texas, went to college in Colorado, obviously. But it made me step outside of my comfort zone. So obviously, as a guy who hooped, I'm trying to find pickup games. So pickup games in Boston led me to Boston University. And so at Boston University, they had some kids that had played AAU around the Boston area. And so I'm going to any gym I can to get a pickup game. So that led me to Boston U's campus. It led me to before a Middlesex Magic practice. I'm playing pickup with some college guys, just trying to stay in shape. And I run into Mike Crotty. And he says, "Hey, man, where'd you play?" I got my Air Force gear on. You know, I'm trying to represent, trying to get my street cred up. You know, I let him know because, again, Air Force isn't a traditional basketball power. But, hey, during those 5 years, I put us up against anybody. We had some big-time wins. We beat Georgia Tech. We beat Georgia. You know, we beat Wake Forest. You know what I mean? Again, just teams that we beat Utah, who was in the Mountain West at that time. You know, we beat BYU, you know, who again, these are traditional basketball powers that are good year in and year out, and they're losing the Air Force. People are scratching their head. We beat DePaul, you know, and people didn't realize that, hey, man, we had some ballers back then, and we're coming back too. Like Air Force will return to glory. But it's a thing to where you're just like you said, Craig, being around the game. And it turned into, hey, man, come and help me out. Why do you shoot like that? Why do you play like that? What was this? How do you cut so well? How do you know how to play? And sharing that knowledge and giving it back was something that interested me. And I didn't know I wanted to coach till I was 25 years old. I was really just volunteering. I volunteered at a high school that was 5 minutes from my house. You know, the Air Force wanted to make us do community service. So I'm like, dude, I like to hoop. So let me do my community service helping out, you know, the youth in basketball. So I did that. Then I volunteered to be an AAU coach. You know, I'm not getting paid for this. You know, I was just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. Then someone says, after you coach AAU, man, think about coaching college? No, I actually didn't think about that. And then that's what led me to Boston U. After having done that, you know, taking some kids on official visits to Boston University, I'm meeting the coaching staff, you know, and I played for so many coaches and assistant coaches that they knew Joe Jones. They said, hey, one of our guys is going to come up there, you know, he's going to bring a couple kids, show them around. You know, he might want to do this. He might be good. And then Joe Jones gave me an opportunity to volunteer, and then it just grew from there. And I'm forever thankful that, and again, that's where my steps were ordered. It wasn't by accident. You know, again, I'm not sitting in the seat that I am. I'm not in a position that I am without the good graces of God. And that's why, again, I'm a believer, and I'm going to continue to be one.
Go ahead, Chris.
Adam, what was it like coaching and recruiting the two all-time leading scorers in UTSA history? And on top of that, I'm curious, how the hell did y'all get them to stay there all 4 years?
No, I mean, I'm not going, you know what I mean? Again, those are two Dallas kids. And again, it's different, man. It's not my recruit, your recruit. You know, I mean, again, some people do it that way, but again, we like to tag team, recruit kids. And again, I helped identify them, built great relationships with their people, their families. And again, they were kids that they felt kind of under the radar. And so again, we're at UTSA, we're a newer school. I mean, again, we just recently turned 50 years old, so we're not we weren't 1862. You know, I mean, we don't have a lineage of a whole bunch of dudes that, you know, again, they can go back to and compare themselves to. But they had a belief in themselves, a belief in our coaching staff. Coach Henson did a great job, and even Coach Peck and Coach Thompson did a great job of allowing those guys to be in positions to let their talent shine. Coach Henson has a great philosophy to help you play to your strengths during the season and then work on your weaknesses in the offseason. So as freshmen, those guys were able to put up some pretty terrific numbers because, again, we were playing to their strengths. If they couldn't, not that they can't, but if they couldn't go right, we're not going to put them in a position to go right. We're going to let them go left. Then we're going to, you know, again, tailor sets and plays and do things to let them play to their strengths. So they were able to do that. They believed and trusted in us. And then to keep them, I mean, again, it's just all about relationships, man. This thing is taking a whole new turn with the transfer portal every single day. And I know people were hitting them up behind the scenes. You know, again, I ain't gonna go into specifics, but people were hitting them up behind the scenes, making sure they were happy, and they were. And they were able to do some great things. Now they're both professionals, and they're going to make a lot of money playing basketball. And just, again, glad to be a part of their story. And that's what we tell these kids. We just want to be a part of your story, man. We know you have talent. It's the character piece. I think both those kids will tell you they grew up and matured with us, and now that's allowed them to be successful professionals early on in their careers. And there's another kid, Giovanni Nicolau. He's an Italian kid, came with us. He's playing top of division in Italy, and he wasn't one of them when he came over to us. And so, again, it's one thing to acquire talent. It's another thing to develop it. And so, again, if you told me Keaton Wallace would be averaging 20 points in the G League his first year, coming from where he came from, you know, again, not being one of them, you know, one of the chosen ones, and everybody's going to say they thought he was good, you know, because that's the thing. And I know you got to do ratings and all that stuff, so I'm not going to, you know, get on my rant on that. But, again, he wasn't the God's gifted one, but he turned out to be one of the ones that the city is very, very proud of. And Javon Jackson is a natural talent. And for us to, again, at that point, to give him that opportunity to do that from day one, he didn't want to wait. And any kids that don't want to wait, holler at me, man. We got spots for you.
Yeah. Javon had a playoff game in high school against Denton Geyer, like 55.
Yeah, he had 50. He actually had a 50. It's crazy because, you know what I mean? And one day it was a 49 piece. The other day it was a 50 piece. He had two of those, either 49 or 50 piece. So, you know what I mean? Again, he definitely, again, is a talented kid. I think he matured a lot over his time with us. He still comes back. Keaton Wallace still comes back. You see those guys, they just make that stop through San Antonio, and it's become a second home for those guys. And we're proud and we're excited, again, to be a part of their story and to have them still keeping in contact with those guys to this day. You know, and I appreciate the retweets from those guys, you know, again, as they're building their own brands to even still remember us and remember where it started and not forget, you know, where they came from. And UTSA is they've helped put us on the map.
Yeah. Man, let's talk about the visit that y'all had from Cason Wallace, McDonald's All-American. That had to be big time, because he's a big time kid. He's definitely getting a lot more love than his brother ever did.
Yeah. Yes.
And I mean, and that may be because he's maybe more electric. I'm not sure. I didn't really get a chance to watch Keaton in high school. I kind of started after he graduated high school. But coming to UTSA for that visit, did y'all think y'all had a chance to get Cason to stay?
I mean,
all 4 years?
Hey, like, honestly, we're not allowed to talk about, again, recruitable student athletes. So I'm just going to talk hypothetically. If we did have a McDonald's All-American visit us, it would be something that would be big time for our university and our program. Because, again, guys of that caliber, again, in the past haven't. I didn't do my research. I don't know if that was the first one we had an official visit, but for our staff, it was. And again, for any recruit to take us seriously and to give us a chance, you only get a limited number of visits. So again, any kid that does that and puts us in his top 5, and it doesn't hurt you either. You know what I mean? Again, I know some people will sit there and say, well, that, why would they be on there? Why would they? And again, anytime that recruiting's involved, relationships are always prevalent. And that's, again, I don't want to break any rules or anything like that, but anytime that stuff's involved, it's usually because of that. And again, we pride ourselves at UTSA of building, great relationships with the community, with, again, parents, players, coaches, media, like you guys. And again, we take that from there. So no, me again,
the camera guy.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But anytime we were able to again up the profile of our program and to get high profile kids on campus, we love any opportunity to do that, and we won't shy away from that at all.
Hey, UTSA is headed to the American Conference in 2023. How's that going to change things for y'all?
Oh man, it's big time. And again, Conference USA is a great conference. Don't get me wrong. I mean, again, a lot of proud programs with a lot of great coaches. The American Conference poses just a little bit more notoriety, a little bit, I guess, bigger of a stage. Even some more proud programs in a different aspect, in a different spectrum. Again, we like to do a lot of research. I'm a numbers guy. I mean, again, the players that have come through the American Conference are unbelievable. I mean, again, the amount of NBA players, Conference USA produces about 3 guys on a roster per year. The American is about quadruple that, and it's something that, that you're going to have to up the ante. It's going to change our recruiting. It's going to change our approach at times. I mean, obviously we got the breadbasket. We want to be, Texas, Dallas. I mean, Texas is big for us. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. That's still big for us. We're going to have to, again, widen our net. And again, we've gone internationally. We've gone global, use those contacts. But again, it's really going to test us, junior college, again, leaving no stone unturned. And it's really going to, again, help us. And I think it's going to raise our profile as a university. I mean, again, to being associated with great programs like Memphis and SMU and Wichita State. Again, we have 6 programs coming with us from Conference USA, so we will have some familiarity there. They're good. North Texas has won our league the last couple of years. They're not slowing down. Again, it would be great to have Keaton and Javon come back. Find some loophole to get those guys back in a uniform. But again, we're ready for the next wave. We're out there searching for the next wave. And again, there's enough talent around there for us. We're a big enough city. We're the 7th largest city in the country. We do have a market, and our football team's been able to do it, and we're right behind them. Love those guys. Love, again, women's golf's done a great job. Men's golf's done a great job. Baseball's done a great job. So again, we're just upping the profile of the university, and women's basketball's on the rise. We're excited, man. We're going to tackle this thing, and we're diving in 2 feet.
Hey, man, I want to ask you about one of your assistant coaches, because me and Chris were talking about him before and I got kind of starstruck when he gave me a follow on Twitter. Mike Peck, man. He's a legend high school coach. Obviously coached NBA guys at Finley Prep. Talk about coaching next to him too, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, our staff is incredible, man. Again, and starts with Coach Henson. I mean, again, he hired our associate head coach, Mike Peck. Again, the guy's a living legend, man. What he did at Finley Prep, building it from the ground up, again, is in the knowledge and the experiences that he has coaching guys like, we always call him Tristan Kardashian, but, but Tristan Thompson, again, coaching him and coaching Corey Joseph and Avery Bradley and coaching the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, Anthony Bennett. People don't even think about that. But coaching the number 1 pick in the NBA draft is, I mean, again, that's one of my goals. I love to do that. But things guys haven't accomplished in a lifetime. And they started with humble beginnings. Again, he was one of the guys that like to say that he got it out the mud. It wasn't a huge gym that they were playing. It wasn't, they literally had a converted room, and he has a great picture of a converted room that they had that they did their pregame talks into. It was like kind of like a storage closet. And in that room, there's over $100 million worth of NBA money. and contract money in there, but it's not always what the boat or the ship looks like. It's who's in the ship, who's on the boat, and anything's possible. Again, we don't have the greatest facilities right now. It's no secret, but again, the things we've been able to do without having some of that stuff is a testament to our coaching staff and again, our administration's on board, to get that stuff in. Obviously it takes time, but again, we're not using anything as an excuse, anything as a crutch, because again, it's the people, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And he's one of the guys that have been able to create that without having the bells and whistles, and again, those things will catch up, and in time, those things will come. But again, Mike Peck's is great to have him alongside us, rolling in the same direction. And he's, again, the amount of knowledge and people he's coached and connections that he has, being a G League head coach, coaching NBA Summer League, being in the Portland Trailblazers organization, being behind the scenes along with Coach Henson, who's been in those meetings. Coach Henson was drafted, then he's been in draft rooms to know. Again, that information is invaluable, and being able to learn from them. Again, I'm getting secondhand knowledge and experiences that I can share again with the future generation.
Adam, what are the goals you have for yourself coaching wise? I mean, you want to run your own program someday or what?
No, I mean, shoot, that is the dream, man. And obviously, God willing, to be a head coach is something that I do aspire to, and again, and that's something that, again, the people that I played for and coached for have helped prepared me for those opportunities. Coach Henson gives me great responsibility. Coach Kyle Smith gave me great responsibility. Joe Jones, even as a beginner, helped, shape me and mold me. And, again, being a head AAU coaching, with Mike Crotty and the Middlesex Magic organization, it allowed me to be able to call my first time out. Even at Columbia, I was a JV head coach. Was able to coach against prep schools, New England, prep schools that are powers, and being able to again, roam the sidelines and get those experiences. Again, those things are second to none. I'd love to do that. I'd love to win a national championship, and I don't care if that's as a head coach, as assistant coach, as a towel boy, again, to be at that level and to experience that type of success, cut down nets, is something definitely that I'd love to do. And again, I'd love to be in the green room, again, with a first round draft pick, lottery pick, be there, shake his hand and experience that. So, I mean, again, that's, again, those are long-term goals. Obviously in the present, just be better every day. Don't be the same person. Don't be the same coach. Don't be the same mentor that I am today, that I will be, hopefully be tomorrow, and growing in that. And again, leaving every situation better than I found it. Again, those are just daily goals, daily habits. And that's something that, again, I hope I can accomplish with, in my career and just day in and day out.
Well, hey man, we really appreciate you coming on. I just want to say this. I've known you for a long time. I might be a little biased, but there's no one, in my opinion, that works harder than you. You're one of the best guys that I know, in basketball and then also personally. And it's a privilege for me to know you, and I really appreciate you coming on this podcast.
No, thanks a lot, Chris. And I mean, again, and I shout out to you guys. I mean, again, who would have thought, again, two guys I grew up with in the DFW area are now, again, making waves in one of the basketball metropolis. I mean, again, Dallas, I'll put them up against anybody that Dallas basketball. I mean, again, call me biased, but again, head to head, toe to toe, Texas basketball, Dallas basketball, again, second to none. And again, it's definitely one of the new meccas. And again, I'm proud of you guys. Again, I don't think you guys hear that enough. People are again, again, you guys put out rankings, you guys do different things, but the fact that you guys are doing it for the kids and doing.
Hey man, I'm just
things,
a camera guy.
No, I love that. I love that about you, Craig. You're so humble. But again, you are guys that I lean on. Again, you guys are my eyes and ears when, again, coaches are not allowed to be out on the road. I can make a phone call, pick up a call. And I know you guys will pick up a call and shoot me straight. You guys don't have an agenda. I mean, again, we go way back. This is blood. We're different than that, man. We go way back before any of this. You guys knew me when I was, again, snotty-nosed kid trying to hoop. And again, I knew you guys the same capacity. So, again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. And I wish you guys nothing but success. and I'd love to be back on. As this thing grows and takes on a mind of its own. I'd love to be back, and again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Take
All
care,
right,
brother.
fellas. Yep, birds
Thank
up
you,
too.
man.
Come on, man. I got to rep the brand. Come on, man. Birds up.